Space is already inhabited by about 500 satellites used for military purposes, among them sensing, imaging, communications, and meteorology. These activities are generally considered constructive, and there's no prospect and no widely shared desire for their elimination. But the possible next step, weaponization of space, raises a central question. Is the outer space which surrounds this planet on all sides qualitatively different, or is it merely an area where weapons have not yet penetrated?
We get more and more dependent on outer space. Our quality of life has greatly improved because of advantages of the new environment and resources provided by outer space. Billion-dollar industries dealing with telecommunications, navigations, positioning are flourishing. Strategic stability, including verification of arms control treaties implementation, helped by surveillance and reconnaissance satellites.
The current state of affairs reflects that space is currently militarized but not weaponized. Globally, we're currently postured with communications and intelligence gathering capabilities that offer the possibility of everyone watching everyone, nurturing global security. These capabilities are used in military force enhancement roles and are accurately referred to as space militarization. But few would argue that these force enhancement capabilities constitute space weapons.
We depend on space for major civilian, commercial, and military activities. Entertainment, communication, navigation, surveillance. The US has 95% of the military assets in space currently, and over 64% of civilian and commercial assets. So, of course, the US is deeply worried about the vulnerability of these assets. But rather than looking at the issue as one for or against weapons in space, we need to look at how best to ensure the security and safety of assets and activities in space on which we depend.
Weaponization of outer space, that is, deployment there of striking weapons, risks to disrupt those things to which we are now so accustomed, make them more vulnerable, more costly, to say the least. Intentions for military domination in space, if realized, can make the world less stable and secure.
As part of its missile defense project, the United States foresees 2 space-based weapons, a space-based laser and a space-based kinetic kill vehicle, for testing and possible orbit within a decade. Even before weapons are orbited in space, ground-based or aircraft-mounted anti-satellite weapons could be deployed by several countries.
Space-based ballistic missile defense issues are extremely complex because almost any space-based ballistic missile defense system is likely to have a pretty significant anti-satellite capability. So this is kind of the camel's nose under the tent, potentially, where the United States or other parties might be saying, well, we're just doing this to do ballistic missile defense, when in fact what they're gaining out of the system is a robust space control capability.
If you look at the views of many experts in this country, if it is a workable system, then it is not going to be a system that's purely defensive. It must have offensive capabilities in order for it to be effective. So it's very hard to draw the line whether this is a defensive system or it is a step towards the weaponization of outer space.
A move towards space weapons is likely to prompt competitors to build ASAT systems, systems that will also threaten robust communications and intelligence gathering systems that to date have been protected by the open skies environment. Additionally, nations currently able to posture space weapons are those very nations that currently hold military advantages in many other realms, And this begs the question, why would powers that currently hold military advantage in air, land, and sea realms open a new realm in space that could level that playing field?
Preventing weaponization of outer space is a task important for every country, and especially for those who have most numerous space assets and who could suffer more because of their eventual disruption. The vicious circle of arms race, which is defensive, offensive, again defensive, this is the constant competition between the shield and sword, can and must be avoided in outer space.
In most war games that include space assets, commanders have repeatedly discovered that preemptively destroying or denying an opponent's space-based assets using space weapons to do so is both appealing and often inevitably leads to rapid escalation in a full-scale war, even triggering nuclear responses. One such commander in a recent war game commented, "If I don't know what's going on because I've lost my eyes and ears in space, I have no choice but to hit everything using everything I have." That this conclusion actually surprised strategists suggests that we have not fully explored the implications of space weapons.
We feel that this is something that bears on the future. We wouldn't really want to see in the future an Earth surrounded by an outer layer of weapons which will make mankind even more vulnerable than the situation today. So that is the fundamental reason why China, together with other countries, are promoting the idea of an internationally binding legal instrument to prevent an arms race in outer space and to prevent the weaponization of outer space.
If the weaponization of space does take place, with whatever weapons and whatever justification, it will be the ultimate act of proliferation.